Boy, howdy, what a race this was. Welcome, everyone, to another episode of the MRL Fastlane, looking at the most recent Cup race at Road America. And I'll tell you what we thought was just going to be a standard race was anything but. So I guess let's just go straight into this bad boy. To kind of give you guys a little bit of build up, road courses are generally accepted to be the playhouse of GMI, George Maroff Incorporated, and those drivers are the one of RS Meatwagon and the 47 of Bassbuck. Bassbuck is starting all the way in towards the back, but Xander, the one car, was on pole. Alongside is the 14 of Cyberso as we kind of go on through here. Yeah, this was a 25 lap race. Here we're on board with Bass right now. He is all the way in the rear. I do believe he started P10 after everything was all said and done. But yeah, there was a lot of hype going into this race. A lot of expectations looking to be fulfilled. Like I said, having a road course going into this race is something that the drivers know, and we actually had 15 of them on docket tonight. There was a lot of points that could have been nabbed, could have been lost, and as you can see right now, all the unexpected happens. So yeah, like I said, the 1 and the 47 were definitely the favorites. However, Von Poon Racing, VPR, also had a lot of good machines going into their race. The same thing goes for the 14 of Cyber. He's good everywhere. All of these guys had a bunch of good cars that could battle for the win. 51 of T-Bird, the 43 of Liam, and just to kind of, as they're making the pace laps right now, this is just setting the tone. Let's kind of go in towards the exact starting position. So, like I said, RS Meatwagon, Xander had a pole almost by a full second, and this is where Road America actually had some of the largest margins of times, ranging from at lowest 1 second to at highest 19 seconds. But hey, you know, all these guys, especially with Cade, he unfortunately will not be joining us for this race, but he did post a lap, and that gets him last place points. However, like I said, pardon me, treating as if there's another person in this room right now, the parity between who is expected to be fast, like Xander, and then a general midfield driver, I guess, would be like 5 seconds off, you know? At road courses, let me be specific here. Road America, of course, you know, is a 4-mile course with a general lap time of around 2 minutes 4 seconds roughly. So like this would be about the average right here. If you were around this time, then you were a-okay. You know, that is like a general top 5 pace. Anything above that, you know, you are fighting for the win. Anything below that, you're fighting for like a top 10. Anyway, though we did have a couple people not join us for this race. UK Wildcats did not join us. Mopower Cat did not join us. Cade, like I said, did not join us. However, as you can see, you had a unsuspecting US Trek Enterprise get into the top 3 for his best qualifying spot so far this season. The 43 of Liam here having another good run here. I think, if I do recall correctly, Watkins Glen did actually have a better qualifying spot for him, but still a P4 at Road America. It shows you, especially as we go towards the relegation battle, the 43 starting up towards the front is definitely something that is good for him. However, as you can see, like the BD Dead Man and the 19 of Agent Orange Nathan, B Right Racing 17, Brandon, Bass started, Pied Piper started, Packer started, Rockstar did not, Justin Shackett did not, and that's going to be important later, and he also did not post a time. So we're going to get to that here in a hot second, but he did not post a time, nor did he race, so that is a very important. Going on down here, Pete Cola started. I Spun Higgins started, and then lastly, he's not on here, but Mopawa NRG was a last minute decision to join us in race, and he did. So NRG started last, and Xander was on pole. So let's kind of go into the actual race here. So the kind of skipping ahead here because the pace lap was definitely the biggest thing. One thing that has to be noted is that the worst turns in terms of being a packed, there was 2 cautions today. The first one would be later on at like lap 10, and the turn 1 you can see right here is going to be a major point of battling. You can see the 43 going wide right there. Everyone going wide. Everyone jockeying for then turn 3. Another hard braking zone with Road America essentially just being a bunch of 90-degree turns. You can see everyone jockeying for position. The 19 gets loose. There is no banking here, so there's really nothing to catch you going into the next corner. It's all about getting the power down as stable and as secure as possible. As you can see, the 22 unfortunately gets to the rear of the 3, kind of knocks him out of sorts, but nothing too crazy, but still gets to the inside here. But like Road America is just generally defined as a bunch of 90-degree turns, and you can see right now the 14 of Cyber not feeling it right now, and that's just going to be a general thing for everyone here. And you can see that like essentially that is one of the turns that you can see a lot of people going for. We are 4 wide going out of turn 7 right there. Now entering the carousel, you have a lot of people. That is another place that you can gain a lot of time is through here in the carousel. And I'm just kind of showing you the general lap here because there is a lot to talk about. The 17 having a bit of a mishap right here going into the lap 1. He will rebound, though, spoiler alert. But yeah, if you wanted to watch the race, it's right here on our official YouTube. So make sure to give it a shot if you want to see the entire broadcast uninterrupted. The top 6 right here, Xander has checked on out. Like that theory of him being the favorite here is absolutely true because as you can see, second on right here, Xander's right here going up the hill right now. He is gone. He has checked out. See you later. But yeah, that is generally the perception of everything going here. We're going to skip ahead a lot right here. And about to where pit stops start, which is right about here. So the general pit stop cycle around Road America is anywhere between 8, 9, and 10 laps. 8 is like the hyper aggressive, oh, I'm not saving whatsoever. 9 was the average, about like this. So this is like the first stops right here. This is lap 8 going on to lap 9. Lap 9 is the average, about like when you would actually make it. Lap 10 is like I'm saving right now. So it's going to be important here in a hot second. So the general gist of when everyone came on down is lap 8, but you will see people go on down. So like you see the 19 of Nathan, the 51 being on the first stop, T-Bird also having a bit of a bad race. You will see here in a little bit. He just kind of going through the curse of Watkins Glen, just could not get the power down and having a lot of, I guess, grip issues out there. The 47 Bassbuck is methodically making his way through the field. Everyone kind of trying to make heads or tails of the entire show here. The 1 is going to be coming down this time, and as you can see, you can be hyper aggressive going on this pit lane as long as right here, that yellow line, rewind there for a hot second, as long as you can make 50 miles per hour by this line right here, you will be A-okay. So right here, kind of going through, we're going to skip on ahead. And as we see Bass right here, he did have a pit road speeding penalty, so add that to the list of people with pit road speeding penalties. However, as you can see right here, I guess someone was trying to take the corner a little bit extra wide, but there is a wall here, and unfortunately was not able to get back to the track in time. And then Goose, US Track Enterprise into 3, just nowhere to go. He gets collected, and this brings out the first yellow of the day. Now, this is something that a bunch of the drivers, they were very indifferent about it. Like, everyone had their pit stops already, so there were some that did come on down, and there were some that didn't. As you can see, just making their pit stop, you really don't need a pit here. There's really no need to. So because of that, we're gonna restart with Xander still on the pole. But I do want to point out Pete Colligator in the 53 making his return after quite some time. I do believe Charlotte was his last race, and because of that, he is making his way through the field. So good job on Pete Cola making his way methodically through the field. So because of that, we have a bit of a melee going into turn 1 here. And because of that, everyone goes wide. And because of that, there is a bit of a mishap going into turn 3. People on the grass, and that is another caution. I'm not entirely sure what happened, but I'm pretty sure it's a rinse and repeat of what happened in the first incident. So because of that, everything is reset right now. There are people that, if you didn't pit under that first caution, you pit now, and vice versa. So the people that didn't pit under that first caution, or did pit, ended up not pitting here. Now, for anyone that was watching this race live, you know what's about to happen. We're gonna skip on ahead here. Xander still has the lead. You can tell the people that did pit as opposed to didn't. The top 4 either took rights only or did not pit. Same thing with NRG. Back here in that... Oh, sorry, that is Liam right there in 5th place. That is going to be very important to know as we go towards this race. Now, turn 1, like I said, it's a melee. Unfortunately, the 19 of Agent Orange has nowhere to go. Goes into the sand trap. But don't worry, he'll be back. He had pace all day, and like the people that you wouldn't really think about being up here was up here, and the people that you did think, apart from Xander, that was going to be up here was not. Road America's weird that way, and you can see right now that T-Bird having right before his unfortunate mistake, having a good run here. The last of the late breakers, Cyber absolutely locks up the brake, pile drives the 1. But he's so far ahead that he just gains it back anyway. The 14 gets loose, allows the 51 to go on by. And this is just lap 1, folks. Keep in mind, these 4 did not pit. Knock Cyber into the grass a little bit. The 22 tries to capitalize on that mistake. The 43, right behind all this, kind of eyeing it up, licking his lips, rubbing his hands together. Belly laughs a little bit. I'm going to take the spot. The 47 trying to make his way through the field. As you can see right here in the background, there is the 53 and the 3. Keep in mind for those guys as we go through the rest of this race. Going to kind of skip ahead a little bit here. The 17 did have a little bit of mistake of a mishap again. The 22, same thing. So the 22 did have to go to the back a little bit. These are teammates trying to make their way through the field. The 19 of Nathan, Agent Orange, making his way back up through the field as well. As we're going on board with them. T-Bird, same thing. So here we now have Pete Colligator making his way to the field. Packers as well, but that's what kind of caught him out. He was battling for a top 3, a podium. But as you can see, he must have he locked it up or maybe put into the sand trap a little bit, but he lose lots and lots of time. The 47 of Bass, that was an interesting line right there. He definitely doesn't help his exit, but he is making his way through the field as well. So right now, Pete Colligator is in P3 right now. That is Cyber in P2. And you're going to see something here. We're going to kind of skip ahead a little bit here. So at this point, we're kind of just keeping track of the progress at the 17. T-Bird, you just briefly saw right there, did unfortunately leave, so he is your first person out of this race. You can see the 22 trying to make his way back to the field. The 73 just kind of gets loose right there, allows for probably the easiest pass of the day right there for the 22. BD Deman making his way back to the field. However, as you can kind of see right now, we should be able to find them. Yep, the 53 and the 14 are both closing in on the 1. And at this point, I'm calling it right now. It's like, is the 1 trying to save some fuel? Because right now, the 14's not slowing down, because the 14 and the 53, the gap between those two, are about the same. However, they're both catching the 1, which is right there. And I'm like calling it as like, something's amiss here. And we're gonna skip ahead a little bit here. Just watching the fight to the front that these guys put on, the 17 in the background as well. They put on a show trying to get through the field. Unfortunately, the Pipe Piper there kind of getting off road. It's going to allow the 22 to get alongside. However, the 19 is going to have the draft from the 38, and it's just going to get closer and closer along this entirely egregiously long front stretch here. You will give a little bit of a bump draft to the 1. He's going to, to the 38, and he is going to try to snooker both of them. However, not quite yet, not this corner. So we're going to kind of, I do believe we go to the lead at this point here. Yes, we're checking in with the 53. The 53 has made some ground on the 1. He is right there. Same thing. He has overtaken the 14. Now the 14 is starting to save fuel, and I'm like calling it as like, like something's definitely amiss here. Could this be a strategy race and no one realized it? And we are going to see here that that is indeed true. I do believe it's this lap. No, I think it's the next lap. We're going to kind of skip ahead a little bit. The 14 of Cyber ends up going to have to pit. We are watching the 53 right now. And that is, right here, actually, my bad. The 14 of Cyber realizing that he cannot make it all the way. And that's at this point, the floodgates open. Those that did not stop on that last caution will not make it the rest of the way. So we counted it 4 drivers, the 22 included, that will not make it on fuel, and the 1 as well. He is saving. He has a wheel, he has a shifter, so he can save. Will it be enough? So the 14 has already pit, so he's out of the running for this race. The 22 at this point on the Discord call saying that he's going to have to pit. He's just hoping for a caution. And then as well as the 51, but the 51 has already left. So right now the lone man out is the 1 right here. The 1 is going to try to see if he can make it the rest of the way. Now it's a knockout, drag-out fight here. And you can see right here how close it is. Pete Colligator putting on an absolute stomping performance on his way from the rear of the field to the front here. Keep in mind the tires are also at a disadvantage as well. That 1... the tires that the 1 has is definitely a lot worse than than the 53 there. So you can see just how good even on worn tires the 1 of Xander is. We're going to kind of skip ahead a little bit. Going out of turn 1, the 53 has the advantage going into turn 2 and 3 here. The turn 2 technically is that little kink, but the 1 has the preferred lane and the momentum to do so. So now they're going to be side by side going through the backstretch here. It's going to be a matter of who blinks first, who's going to brake here first, and it is going to be actually both of them. They both do the same thing. They both lock up, but the 1 has the preferred lane, is actually able to turn in quicker than his compatriot here. The 53 trying to make up some ground. The 1 goes wide. A little bit of contact. No, there isn't. But the 53 does go wide. And at this point, this is the last lap of the race, folks. The last lap of the race, and the 1 is flying right now. He is saying, sayonara, I don't need you right now, and I'm going to go win this race. At this point, guys, I do want to point out that he has led every single lap, and this is a win well-deserved of RS Meatwagon. This will be his 4th win of the season. His 5th win of the season. I apologize about that. However, as we go through the carousel, he runs out of fuel. He runs out of fuel. We thought that he could make it all the way. Everyone thought he could make it, and the 53 goes on past, and I am freaking out at this point. Just so you guys can hear it, let me start it right here, just so you guys can hear. What we saw may not have been what it actually was, but... Oh!
No! Oh
I
my
am
goodness!
going
The
ballistic.
one of Xander has run out of fuel! Oh my goodness! The absolute scenes
But
we
yeah,
got.
that is what I'm talking about. And to kind of go through the motions here, not to totally talk about what I've already discussed, but the 53 had enough fuel and was able to make it all the way. He will win his race, win his first race of the season, punching his ticket to the All-Star race. However, since we are doing Winston Cup points, he is still not in contention for the championship yet. So because of that, we are on board with the one. Unfortunately, if he's watching this right now, I apologize, my guy, but this was a big moment for the race. The one just putt-putting to the line, completely out of fuel, position after position, making that long grind to the flag. Right there is Brandon, and now crosses the line. That is unfortunate, but sometimes that's racing. That is a P8 performance right there. So as we kind of just go through that, an unlikely podium of P. Colligator, Goose, US Trek Enterprise, after being involved in that caution, being put around from the front to the back. I did pause. Okay, cool. From the front to the back, and then ultimately coming home with his first MRL podium of his career. Bravo. Encore. Bassbuck, he went in on his post-race interview and said that was the worst car he's ever had. And because of that, he did not think he was going to be on the podium. But at the same time, for these three, this is why you do not quit races. This is why you run it out just in case stuff like that can happen. I know it's one thing to be Xander or even Cyber, who finished P8 and 10 respectively. However, for everyone else that did not expect to actually beat these two, this is a win in their book. I Spun Higgins as well getting his first top 10. Packers, Liam getting pivotal points, 155 points in his bucket right now. And because of that, we have a real good look at the points right now. Cade being the last place with his last place points right there. And you can see, never mind this little gap right here, that is because of this right here. However, we see a major shift in the points. Not a huge point loss for Cyber. However, we do have a new second place in points right now, and the heat is on for second, being separated by 16 points, guys. 16 points. The heat is on. Cyber still, though, despite having a mediocre race by all his account, did not lose that many points to Brandon. It was only a 12-point loss, which, as you can see right here, is reflected. It's still a 234-point lead. So the loss was more on Xander's part, and I'm going to step back for a second and be that guy. Xander had an absolutely dominant race, led 24 of 25 laps. Still does not take away from the fact that he had a dominating performance. It just sucks that it was lost because of fuel. It happens. It's racing, though. But all because of that, we see Bass, US Trek, and Packers all gain a spot because of UK not showing up. However, I want to kind of shift your attention down on to the 15th and 16th range. Remember, we have a relegation battle. 16th on will be going to the Xfinity Series next season. However, Blakey T is already moved from the Xfinity Series to full time there, so he's going to be trying to get his way into Cup next season. So we're going to kind of ignore that. We do see 15th and 16th here being only separated by 16 points by Justin Shackett not qualifying and not racing. He put himself in an arm's reach of Liam. At one point, this was 160 point gap. now shriveled into 16. And now that's going to be key as we go into our power rankings. We're going to look at the stats first, though, guys. As you can see, because of Cyber and Xander's performance this race, they did have a decrease in average finish. However, they still had top 10, so that adds their total here. However, yeah, that would have been win number 5 of the season for Xander, but, you got to share the wealth. So, because of that, I want to kind of break this on down, because I know this doesn't mean a whole lot for you guys. I kind of did a little chart right here, and to kind of show you where everyone kind of shifts and where they belong in terms of everything that I have up here. So, Xander leads polls and wins. Cyber leads podiums, top 5s, top 10s, and average finish, which is why in this format of Winston Cup, he is the point leader. Average finish generally means you get more points per race. So, because of that, he is the point leader by 200. That's not it. 234 points. Brava! Right now going into race 12, which is Iowa, this coming Saturday, it's going to be interesting to see how he can do on my personal favorite track. And I think we're going to see another shift in points going into this. So, let's kind of go into the power rankings here. We have... I kind of want to break my own rules here and kind of go into the power rankings in terms of those that just don't give up. And this race right here showed you to never give up. Always race, always putting in a time just in case. So we're going to kind of shift the power rankings here for a second. I do want to start off with number 5 being Brandon. I think... because of this right here, he didn't have the most dominating performance, but he got absolutely pooped on twice throughout that race, but he didn't give up. He went from up like 4th, 5th range, back to the rear, back up here, back to the rear, and then finish in the middle in P7. He had that never give up attitude, and because of that, deserves a 5th place on this power ranking sheet. Then, I want to look at Nathan, Agent Orange. Where is he? Right here. He's around here somewhere. I have him. There he is. I was literally on board. Man, Nathan, despite him not having the best average finish of 8.14, again, right here, we're going to kind of go into Dover as well. He did not have the best of races. In fact, he didn't actually race this race, now that I'm looking at it. But he should be around here somewhere. Hang on. I know he raced Bristol. Yeah, right here. Never give up attitude. Went, 2-3 laps down? Finished 4th at Bristol. He did skip Dover, but he came back for Road America. Never give up attitude, being absolutely pooped on. Remember, he was the one that was often to the side of the road here, going into this first turn of the restart. Oh yeah, it's here, but you guys saw that, and he rallied back for a P7 or P6 performance. So never give up. Number 3, Bassbuck. Where is he? My guy, Bassbuck. He's always down on himself. I don't know why. This dude is fast. Look at this. He's the second best average finish. Second only because he hasn't raced every single race. Look at this. Bass has, where is he? 8 starts with 2 last place points finishes. He doesn't race every single race with these, he didn't race, but he put in a lap. But when he does race, he has a 4.5 average finish. And this dude is fast, and he's so down on himself. Never give up attitude. This dude is literally should be the second best guy in the field. And in terms of points, he is sitting P5 in the standings right now. So because of that, I think Bass deserves number 3 on this spot, only because of this never give up attitude. Getting a podium in a track in a race that he said that he was absolute dog poop. Absolutely garbage. And because of that, he got a podium out of it. Never give up attitude. Next, we're going to be looking at number 2. Never give up attitude. Xander. RS Meatwagon. This not only is going for back to my old standard of, okay, these are the people to see going into next race, but also because of his never give up attitude. Yes, he was very dejected from that race, but who wouldn't? He dominated that race, and yes, you messed up, but never give up attitude. If you watch the next episode of MRL Fastlane, you'll see why I'm putting him in this position, because not only is he going to be fast at Iowa, look for him to be the best contender at Iowa. However, never give up attitude. He kind of pulled himself up off the ground and rose to the occasion. This never give up attitude is how you win titles. Yes, he is 243 points out, but that's because of, if he raced every single race, he raced 10 times with only missing once right here. This right here is what set him back. And think about it. I think Charlotte, Cyber even finished P2 that race. So because of that, he lost like 175 points just right there. So if we do that math, he would only be 70 points out of the championship lead. But never give up attitude. The season isn't over. The race isn't over until the checkered flag waves, and the season won't be over until the checkered flag at Homestead. So we will see if he can make that rebound of rebounds, because he's confident that he can go out and win races on a consistent basis, and this stat line don't lie right here. He has so far 11 races. He's won a third of them. He's fast. He just needs to get out of his own head. P2 on the hot on the hot rankings. And then number 1, never give up attitude. I'm going to give an attaboy to U.S. Track Enterprise. Never give up attitude. Literally, he went in on his post-race interview, and like I said, my entire reason for getting these rankings here is the theme of the race is never give up. Never quit because you think you're out of it, because just when you think you're out of it, that's when you already lost. U.S. Track Enterprise, he's right here. Every race this season. Sitting P6 in the standings. He is a quiet, very keep to himself kind of guy. But when he shows up, oh, does he show up. Right here, this is, like I said, his first MRL career podium. And I'm going to show you, right here. I'm going to show you that. First MRL podium, his first top 5. He went in on his post-race interview and said that after being beaten and bruised, he was almost ready about to quit, but he's like, you know what? I'm just going to shut up. There goes my pen. I'm just going to shut up and get to where I need to go. And just turn off my mic and just focus. And he did. Oh boy, did he. Finishing P2, beating out one of the favorites for the race and taking his maiden MRL podium. An attaboy to U.S. Track Enterprise. Dark Horse. Now, I'm going to go back to the standard for dark horses, the ones that are consistent but aren't normally the ones to watch. And I think, of course, Iowa is going to be a great unknown. I think we are going to see a lot of strategy when it comes to Iowa. It's the Cup cars. They're going to be loose as a goose. No pun intended, goose. They're going to be loose as a goose at Iowa, and with 140 laps of continuous green flag racing, or as close to that as possible, you are going to see a bunch of different strategies. You're going to see the short pits as opposed to long, staying out as long as possible. You're going to see no stages. There's no guaranteed yellows. So because of that, I'm putting Blakey T. Yes, I know he's an Xfinity guy, but he has already said that he wants to use one of his hot seats for this race. And because of that, I'm putting Blakey T as the number 1 pick. If you know Blakey T, then you know his accomplishments at Iowa. Much like if you know me for Iowa, if you know Private Patton for Iowa, I know Blakey T for Iowa. So watch for him to have a performance for the field at Iowa. Secondly, I'm going to look at Liam. Where is he? He's around here somewhere. He's right above him, of course, as the second dark horse. Liam, in all shapes and sizes, had a performance at Road America. He had an absolute show, finishing P5 and qualifying P4. So he basically hung around where he started the entire race. He's known for being one of the road courses, and honestly, his lag kind of holds him back, and I've said that before. I've gone on record and said that before. So because of that, he gained a lot of points necessary going into this. He nabbed his 3rd top 5 and his 5th top 10 of the season, netting his average finish, upping it to 8.57. But like I said, pivotally here, his relegation battle is now within spitting distance. T-Bird has been saved because he shows up and he races every single race. Justin Shackett missed 1 race and put himself in position to get relegated. So it's going to be interesting to watch and see how these guys do at Iowa, because I think it's going to be a absolute slugfest between these guys. So because of that, I'm putting Liam as the second dark horse. Look for him at Iowa. So I've been talking about it at Iowa. Our next Cup race is indeed next Saturday at Iowa. I do believe it is, the 17th? Yes, the 17th of Iowa. And it's going to be hosted right here at Millennium Racing League YouTube. Be there, because we're going to have a lot to talk about. There is a lot of favorites going into this race. Qualifying has already begun, and we already have 3 times on the board. And at the moment of this recording, which is Wednesday night, so have a wonderful night. This has been your host, Private Patton, and I will see you at Iowa. Have a good one, guys.